Hello everyone, here are G back with some more Franchise Hockey Manager 9, where we are going to be playing the 1982-1983 playoffs today as part of the Hartford Whalers, of course. Apologies, I did issue a little apology before my last Gengis Khan stream. I've been a little scarce lately. I got really busy and then I got really sick, so yeah, and it was back to back, so it made for an extended leave of sorts. But we should be good to go now. So we have two games left, and as I pointed out in the last stream, if we manage to get 1 point from the Nordiques, we are assured of clinching the division and having home ice advantage for at least the first round of the playoffs. Or for the first two rounds, actually. But anyway, so we have a really good record against the Quebec Nordiques for 1-1. We are second to the conference because we are first in our division, despite the Islanders having 108 points, which is 10 more than us. But they play in the same division as the Flyers, so Flyers have had a really good season. So good for them. We have a couple day-to-day injuries, Greg Anderson and Greg Teberge. I don't know why I keep trying to say it in English. That's a very French-Canadian name. So they're only day-to-day, though. And, alright, so Anderson, okay, so we're good. And then, of course, we're going to get to see if we stay healthy for the playoffs. Nordiques are fourth in the conference, second in our division. So let's get this thing going, shall we? And let's see if the Whalers can manage to win the Stanley Cup. That would be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to start winning cups with the Whalers here. Alright, we're gonna go advance. So Greg Teberge is hurt, I know. We're just gonna advance, and the computer's gonna take care of that for me. Right, owner confidence update. He thinks that the season is successful. He wants a balance. He thinks we should be contenders next year. Fans are thrilled, and no need to worry about my job. Glenn Anderson ahead of schedule. Oh dear fucking god! All right, so we have the issue with the player with the pictures again. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and fix it. Oh my god, it's getting so fucking annoying to have to do that regularly. Like every version of the game, we have to do that. Alright, so let's go ahead and save, and then we're gonna go ahead and exit. Because you have to be outside of the game to fix it. I explained in a previous stream how to fix it, because this is far from the first time this has happened to me. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and go to our documents. That's the wrong documents. I have 2 hard drives. Like most people. Hey FJ, give me a second, I'm fixing the pictures. Documents, over here, over here, over here. Alright. Ooh. Did you keep Jazz on your team, or did you use his value to get some more depth or something? Okay. He was gone ASAP. Well, he's the cover athlete for MLB The Show, so I figured that, he had to have some value or something. Or maybe his value decreased because he got on the cover of MLB The Show. Who knows? Wait, you're saying that MLB The Show did something bad? I couldn't fathom that happening. Although I will say the addition of the Negro League stuff that they have added is pretty cool. I have to say that. Now I wish we could play like a kind of a franchise with it, but we can't. But it's still pretty cool to have it in there. Alright, so let's play the Nordiques. I explained everything. Okay, where the Nordiques are and everything. My picture over here is fine. Alright, so let's play this game against the Nordiques. Michel Dion's going to be in net for the Nordiques. John Garrett in net for the Whalers. And of course, go Whalers, go! 8-0 win to get started here. So with that win, we are assured of finishing first in the division. A nice 8-0 trouncing of the Nordiques. We outshot them 40-19. Paul Coffey was the first star. He had a goal and 2 assists. Bo Berglund was the second star with 3 assists. And Rob Ramage was the third star with an assist. I thought that you were cheering for the Habs. Who knows, maybe you're going to see them win the cup again without losing a single game in the playoffs like they did last year. 9,595 people in attendance for this game. We scored 3 goals in the first period. Paul Coffey from Bo Berglund and Rob Ramage. Then Mark Missy scored his 30th from Peter Stastny and Tapio Levo. And then Wilf Payment from Brent Sutter and Tapio Levo. 3-0. Hartford after 1. There was a fight between Rob Ramage and Phil Russell. Then we scored 4 goals in the second period. Marian Stastny scored from Dave Poulin and Paul Coffey. And Wilf Payment from Peter Stastny and Mark Messier. Matty Agman scored from Paul Coffey and Glenn Anderson. And then Brent Sutter from Bo Berglund and Gordy Roberts. 7-0 Hartford after 2. Then in the third period, Anton Stastny scored his 25th from Bo Berglund and Jay Wells. It was 8-0. Of course, that's a win. And now we play in Quebec City to wrap up the season. Right, those players are getting acclimated to the team. Alright, so this time in Quebec City, we're going with John Garrett in net again. They're going with Michel Dion in net again. And let's try this again. A 6-3 victory. So a 102-point season for the Whalers. That's not too shabby. We outshot Quebec 46-24 in that one. Dave Poulin was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Paul Coffey was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Peter Stastny was the third star with 2 assists. Alright, so Dave Poulin opened up the scoring in the first from Marian Stastny and Randy Cunninworth. Was 1-0 Hartford after 1. Then we scored 2 goals in the second period. Wilf Payment from Paul Coffey and Peter Stastny. Then Randy Cunninworth from Jay Wells and Dave Poulin. It was 3-0 Hartford at that point. Quebec scored. Then we scored again. Jay Wells short-handed from Dave Poulin and Brent Sutter. Then Quebec scored again. And then we scored again. It was Mark Messier from Bo Berglund and Peter Stastny. 5-2 Hartford here after 2. We had a fight between Dave Farish and Rob Ramage. Then finally in the third period, Paul Coffey scored from Anton Stastny and Gordy Roberts, and it was 6-2, and then Quebec added a goal, but of course it was too little too late. A nice 6-3 victory in Quebec to wrap up the season. Right. So what year are you in your Marlins save? Right, so John Stewart and Lauren Henning are on waivers. Akan Lube has a great game. He had a hat trick against the Flames. His goal streak extended to 5 games. Daryl Sittler extends his point streak to 12 games with a goal and 2 assists against the Flyers. Glenn Anderson is almost ready. Oh, so now this guy wants to negotiate again. I mean, maybe. I mean, I'd like to try to bring you back. You have some interesting stats and everything, and I got you on the cheap. But last time I tried to negotiate a contract with you, you were pissed at nothing. Alright, are you gonna bug out because of the offensive forward thing again? Yep. He is still bugged. He wants to negotiate, but he's bugged. I wonder if it's gonna help if I come here and do end negotiations and then try again. No, he's not interested anymore. Oh, you're a pain to deal with, buddy. All right. And he's only a pain to deal with because he's bugged. So, alright, so looks like everybody played all of their games. So it looks like we're going to be playing the Buffalo Sabres in the first round, and then the Nordiques and Abs are going to face each other. Wow, that's going to be interesting. Let's take a look at the stats in the league now that the season is over. So Gretzky ended up being the best goal scorer with 75 goals, and he also had 82 assists. So 157 points season for Gretzky. That's 14 more than second place Dino Ciccarelli. All right. Glenn Anderson is ready to go. That's good. However, Bernie Johnston is hurt somehow. He got an infection of some sort. So we're going to put him on the injury list. And we are going to recall somebody. Probably Craig Laughlin. Alright, the nominees. Alright, for the Art, we have Denis Savard, Dino Ciccarelli, and Wayne Gretzky. The Vizina, we have Al Smith, Glenn Hanlon, and Pete Peters. For the Norris, we have Ben Wilson, Craig Artsberg, and Denis Potvin. The Calder, we have Eddie Beers, Jeff Courtnall, and Patrick Sundstrom. GM of the Year, Keith Allen, Larry Gordon, and Lou Nanny. The Silky between Brian Trusser, Doug Jarvis, and Thomas Graydon. Lady Bing between Kent Nilsson, Matty Agman, and Wayne Gretzky. Mark Messier Leadership Award between Bobby Clark, Brad Park, and Mark Messier. Ted Lindsay between Ciccarelli, Bussy, and Gretzky. And the Jack Adams between Billy Harris, Claire Drake, and Terry Crisp. We have next to no recognition. And we had 102. We had a 102 point season, and we have barely no recognition. the Lady Bing is like the candy trophy. Like it's a you didn't sucker punch people in the face all season long, so here's a nomination for you. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and advance again, and then we're gonna see. We're gonna take a look at the brackets real quick. Okay, Greg Teberge is feeling better, and now we're gonna take a quick look here. Alright, so as we know, we're facing the Buffalo Sabres, Nordiques and Habs facing each other in the first round. Washington is going to be playing Philadelphia, Rangers against Islanders, St. Louis against the North Stars, Maple Leafs against the Chicago Blackhawks, the Kings against the Oilers, and the Flames against the Canucks. Alright. Ooh, look at that. No, not all. All the Canadian teams save one are in the playoffs. The Jets didn't make it. All right, let's advance here. Alright, first round of the playoffs, we are facing the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo finished the season 35, 32, and 13. That was good for 6th in the conference. We had a 6-2 record against the Sabres, so I like our chances to beat them. Now keep in mind, it's the early 80s, so the first round of the playoffs is not a best of 7, it's a best of 5. We only need to win 3 games to eliminate them. We're going to take a look at them. Okay, so they are pretty healthy. They have Bob Murray that has an injury. He may or may not play, but everybody else is healthy. So they have Jacques Cloutier and Goran Augusta in net. They have Corab McEwen, Scunfield, Ash, Murray, Playfair, Ramsey, and Van Box, Mirandy. And then up front they have Gilles Hamel, Rick Martin, Craig Ramsey, Richard Wilson, Keith Acton, Pierre Larouche, Gilbert Perrault, Sauvé, Savard, Guerre, Islop, and Sealing. So they have a fairly rounded team, but they don't have a whole lot of like superstar power. Like Gilbert Perrault starting to decline just a little bit. He's still pretty good, but he's not like 5 stars anymore. So let's see if we can beat the Buffalo Sabres for one of the very rare times, and I'm probably jinxing myself right now, but for a very rare time, the computer decided to let me go into the playoffs with a fairly healthy team. So we'll see what happens with that. Now that I said that, watch us lose 3 players in the first game. Alright, so Jacques Cloutier is in net for the Buffalo Sabres. John Garrett is in net for us. And of course, go Whalers, go. Let's win the Stanley Cup. That's the goal. Oh, we win game 1 5-4 in overtime, and we take a 1-0 lead in the series. We were outshot 35-34 in that one. Dave Poulin with the hat-trick first star. Bob Wilson was not Bob Wilson. Bert Wilson was the second star with 2 assists, and Ray Neufeld was the third star with 2 assists. 10,514 people in attendance for the game, so even in the playoff and finishing first in our conference, we cannot sell out the building. That's pretty sad. Alright, so Dave Poulin opened up the scoring in the first from Craig Laughlin and Ray Neufeld, then Rob Ramage from Peter Stastny and Mark Messier, then Dave Poulin again from Craig Laughlin and Greg Teberge. 3-0 Hartford already, then the Buffalo Sabres scored. It was 3-1 Hartford after 1. Then in the second period, the Sabres tied the game with 2 goals, and we had a fight between Paul Coffey and Jerry Corab. Then in the third period, Buffalo scored. They were leading 4-3, but then with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left, Dave Poulin completed his hat-trick to tie the game from Peter Stastny and Ray Neufeld. It was tied at 4, and then in overtime, Anton Stastny played the hero early on from Jay Wells and Matty Agman, and it was a 5-4 Hartford win over the Buffalo Sabres, and we are up 1-0 in our series. That's pretty sweet. A night to remember for Dave Poulin, of course. A hat-trick in the playoffs is always something that a player is going to remember. Terry Ruskowski in Chicago got suspended for 3 games. And Greg Teberge is playing hurt. I saw that he played. He got an assist in the last game. So other scores, Edmonton beat LA. Chicago beat Toronto, Vancouver beat Calgary, Minnesota beat St. Louis, Islanders beat the Rangers, we won. Oh, Washington with an upset win against the first place Flyers, and then the Nordiques beat Montreal. Alright. So Montreal is not going to win the Cup without losing a single game this season, like it happened last year. Right, Greg Teberge is completely recovered. That's good news. We want to be as healthy as possible. And of course now is game 2, so we are hosting the same team. And now it's going to be Jacques Cloutier in net for Buffalo and John Garrett in net for us. And go Whalers go. We can take a serious option on the series with a win here. A 7-0 win. We are up 2-0 in our series here. That actually would be the first time that we win a playoff round if we do win. Right, so Brent Sutter was the first star of the game. He had 3 assists. Mark Messier was the second star with 2 goals, and Randy Cunneyworth was the third star with 2 assists. We outshot Buffalo 29-24. 10,472 people in attendance for the game. So we scored 3 times in the first period. Bo Berglund from Brent Sutter and Jay Wells. Anton Stachny from Matty Agman and Glenn Anderson. And then Mark Messier unassisted. It was 3-0 Hartford after 1. We added 3 more goals into the second period. Dave Pune scored again. That was a shorty from Brent Sutter and Rob Ramage. Then Mark Messier from Wolf Payment and Randy Cunneyworth. Marian Stachny from Matty Agman and Anton Stachny. It was 6-0 Hartford after 2. Then in the third period, Bo Berglund from Brent Sutter and Randy Cunneyworth, and it was a 7-0 win. There was a fight between Wilf Payment and Danny Gare. They both got misconducts. Easy win, and then the series moved to Buffalo. Right, suspension for Jim Mayer in New York. He's going to miss 1 game. And Steve Payne had a hat trick for the North Stars against the Blues. Alright, so let's see. Edmonton won again against LA. Toronto beat Chicago. Vancouver beat Calgary. Minnesota beat St. Louis. Islanders beat the Rangers. We trounced the Buffalo Sabres. Philadelphia with the revenge game there, a 9-3 win over Washington. And then the Abs tied their series with the Nordiques with a 2-1 victory. Alright, now we are in Buffalo to face off against the Sabres again with a nice 2-0 win over lead series lead. Whoa, words are hard. Alright, so if we win, we sweep the Sabres, and then we're gonna face the winner of the series between the Habs and Nordiques. It would be nice if it was the Nordiques. I'm tired of facing the Habs in the playoffs. John Garrett is gonna be in net for us. Jacques Cloutier, so same goaltenders. Go Whalers, go! Oh, we lost 5-3. There will be a game 4. Buffalo outshot us 40-21 in that one. Yeah, we weren't in it all that much. Pierre Larouche was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Paul Coffey was the second star with 2 assists, and Keith Acton was the third star with 2 assists as well. So Buffalo scored twice in the first period. They were up 2-0. Then in the second period, Matty Agman scored on a power play from Wolf Payment and Paul Coffey, made it 2-1. Then Buffalo scored twice. It was 4-1. Then Wolf Payment scored from Peter Stachny and Anton Stachny. It was 4-2 Buffalo at that point. We made it a 1-goal game. Bo Berglund scored from Paul Coffey and Matty Agman, but shortly after, Buffalo scored again, and that was the end of the game. We lost 5-3. Right, suspension over for Meyer in New York. Tim Young in Minnesota is suspended. He's going to miss 1 game. And John Anderson had a good game with the Leafs. He scored a hat trick in their series against the Blackhawks. Right, so Edmonton, I believe, eliminated LA with a 4-1 win. Toronto beat Chicago. Calgary beat Vancouver. I believe Minnesota swept the Blues. Islanders beat the Rangers. We lost. Washington won against Philadelphia. They have a 2-1 lead in that series. I didn't see that coming. And the Nordiques with a 2-1 lead in their series as well against Montreal. Alright, let's take a quick look here. Alright, so we're up 2-1. Nordiques are up 2-1. Capitals are up 2-1. Islanders swept the Rangers. North Stars swept the Blues. Toronto's up 2-1. Edmonton swept the Kings. And Calgary avoided elimination with that win there. So they're trading 2-1 in their series. Alright, playing in Buffalo again. Let's end this. I don't want to go back home. I mean, it's nice to play in front of your fans, but I want to end this now. John Garrett, Jacques Cloutier, still the goaltenders. Go Waiters, go. A 2-1 loss. Oh my god, they're gonna make me beg for a round win, huh? Shots were tied 30 apiece. Gilbert Perrault was the first star of the game. He had a goal. Peter Stastny was the second star with a goal. And Mike Ramsey was the third star with an assist. Alright, so Buffalo scored first in the first period. Then we tied the game. It was Peter Stastny unassisted. But then Buffalo scored again. It was 2-1 and that held until the end of the game. Jewels got hurt, but he can't play with the injury, so we are not going to do nothing. Right, memorable game for Tim Kerr. He had a hat-trick against the Washington Capitals. 3 goals. And suspension over for Terry Ruskowski with the Blackhawks. Right. Oh, Chicago trounced Toronto 9-2. Vancouver eliminated Calgary with a 4-2 victory. Philadelphia still in it, tied their series against Washington. Buffalo tied against us, and Montreal tied against the Nordiques 2-0. Alright. Bernie Johnston might be back soon, but are we still going to be playing when he's coming back? This is do or die. We need a win. The series tied at 2. We're back home in front of our fans. Jacques Cloutier and John Garrett in net. And we're going to go ahead and sim this game. Come on, Hartford, don't let me down. Please win this game. Oh, we won 4-3. That wasn't an easy one, but we ended up with the victory. It was a regulation win, too. So 4-3 victory here against Buffalo. We outshot them 32-30. Randy Conneyworth was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Craig Ramsey was the second star with 2 assists. And Bo Berglund was the third star with an assist. Sorry, still some remnants of my sickness. 10,602 people in attendance for the game. Dave Poulin opened up the scoring in the first. That was already his 5th of the playoffs from Randy Conneyworth and Rob Ramage. Then Buffalo tied the game. It was 1-1 after 1. In the second period, Darren Veitch scored from Brent Sutter and Vaclav Seabek, who doesn't want to sign with me. Then Buffalo tied the game, and then we scored again. Randy Conneyworth from Bo Berglund and Gordy Roberts. 3-2 Hartford after 2. We made it 4-2 in the third period. Matty Agman from Greg Teberge and Marian Stastny. Then Buffalo scored with a minute 50 left to go in the game. It was 4-3, but they probably pulled the goaltender. Couldn't tie the game, and we won 4-3. Vaclav Seabek improves at left wing. Good for him. He's going to bring those talents somewhere else, apparently. Alright, let's see. Oh, looks like we're facing the Nordiques. At least that's a different team. So let's see. Chicago pulls through. Philadelphia finally eliminated Washington, but it was harder than they anticipated. I'm sure we won, and then the Nordiques have eliminated Montreal. So for the first time since I started this series, the Montreal Canadiens are not going to be your Stanley Cup champions. Thank God. Memorable night for Lanny McDonald. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Blackhawks. Bernie Johnston feeling better. Alright, we have 1 day off. Now we're starting a best of 7 against the Nordiques. Bernie Johnston ready to go, almost. And right before we do that, I will be right back. I need just a second. Alright, sorry about that. Alright, so now we are ready to start round 2. Let's see if we can beat the Nordiques. Alright, so the series starts in Hartford because we had more points than the Nordiques. Gilles Meloche is going to be in net for the Nordiques. John Garrett in net for us. Alright, oh, I forgot to look at the Nordiques and see how hurt they are. We can look at that after the first game, if I remember. Alright, go Hartford. Oh, we lost game 1 5-3. I don't like that. Alright, a 5-3 loss against the Nordiques. They outshot us 36-35. Peter Lee was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Tapio Levo was the second star with 2 goals. And Patrick Sundstrom was the third star with 2 assists. 10,703 people in attendance for the game. Nordiques scored the first goal of the game. They were up 1-0 after 1. Then we scored 3 goals in the second period. Tapio Levo on the power play from Bo Berglund and Rob Ramage. Then Paul Coffey from Dave Poulin and Vaclav Seebeck. Then Tapio Levo again from Anton Stachny and Greg Teberge. We were up 3-1. Nordiques didn't tie, they scored. Made it 3-2 after 2. And then they added 3 goals in the third period and we lost the game. 5-3 loss to get started. Tim Young is back from suspension and Bernie Johnston is back from being hurt or being sick. Alright, other scores: Vancouver shut out Edmonton 3-0. Chicago beat Minnesota 5-4. We lost to Quebec, and then the Flyers beat the Islanders 5-1. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and advance a day. Jay Wells close to returning, that'd be great. I can always use a defensive defenseman, especially in the playoff. Okay, so they have Rick Hampton that's hurt and not playing. And then they have Brackenbury that's absolutely not going to be playing. He's out 3 to 4 months. Other than that, they're healthy. So all of their good players are healthy. Alright, let's play game 2. Gilles Meloche and John Garrett in net again. Go, Waiters, go. Oh, bounce back game, a 7-2 win. Series tied at 1, and now it's moving to Quebec City. We outshot the Nordiques 33-18 in that one with payment. First star, 2 goals and an assist. Gordy Roberts, second star, a goal and an assist. And Anton Stachny, third star with a goal and an assist as well. 11,033 people in the stands. Randy Kennywort scored the first goal of the game from Bo Berglund and Brent Sutter. Then with payment, unassisted. And then Anton Stashny from Paul Coffey and Rob Ramage made it 3-0 before the Nordics scored a goal before the end of the period. It was 3-1 Hartford after one. Right, we scored 2 more goals in the second period. Gordy Roberts from Bernie Johnston and Bo Berglund, and then Randy Kennyworth from Greg Teberge and Wilf Payment. 5-1 Hartford, and again the Nordiques scored late in the period. It was 5-2 Hartford after 2. And then Wilf Payment added a goal in the third period from Dave Poulin and Gordy Roberts, and finally Glenn Anderson from Anton Stashny and Greg Teberge. 7-2 the final score. Darren Veitch is hurt, but it looks like it's a day-to-day injury. We need to check though, because I still have Jay Wells. No, he's not hurt anymore, so never mind. So we should be good. We are. Right, other games. Edmonton bounced back against Vancouver. Series tied at 1. Chicago destroyed Minnesota 7-2. We destroyed Quebec 7-2. And the Islanders beat Philadelphia 4-3. Alright, series flip to Quebec City. Hopefully we are better on the road than we were in round 1. In round 1 we lost both games in Buffalo. Sorry. I'm struggling over here. I'm suffering for all of yous. Alright, John Garrett, Gilles Meloche back in net for their respective teams. We need to win on the road, so let's go Whalers. Give me a nice 4-1 victory. That's better. That's double what I asked for. We won 8-2. A nice 8-2 victory on the road against the Nordiques. We outshot them 36-23. Glenn Anderson was the first star of the game with 3 assists. Paul Coffey was the second star with 2 goals and an assist. And then Matty Agman, third star with also 2 goals and an assist. Paul Coffey opened up the scoring in the first from Bernie Johnston and Marian Stashny. Then Quebec tied the game. We had a 1-1 game after 1. But we scored 4 goals in the second period. Paul Coffey on the power play from Matty Agman and Greg Teberge. Then Anton Stashny from Glenn Anderson and Gordy Roberts. Mark Messier from Peter Stashny and Tapio Levo. And then Matty Agman from Glenn Anderson and Anton Stashny. 5-1 the score at that point. The Nordiques did score. It was 5-2 after 2. And we added 3 more goals in the third period. Brent Sutter from Randy Kennyworth and Wilf Payment. Mark Messier from Paul Coffey and Wilf Payment. And finally, Matty Agman from Glenn Anderson and Jay Wells. It was an 8-2 victory. And now we're up 2-1 in our series against the Nordiques. Other scores, Vancouver up 2-1 in their series against Edmonton. Minnesota bounced back after that trouncing with a 2-1 win in Chicago. We won 8-2, and the Flyers won 5-4 against the Islanders. Alright, so we're up 2-1, Philadelphia up 2-1, Chicago up 2-1, and Vancouver up 2-1. So nobody's facing elimination right now. All the series are 2-1 for somebody. Alright, back at it in Quebec City. Hopefully our players didn't eat too much poutine. They might feel heavy and not skate as fast. John Garrett and Michel's... Oh! They're deciding to go with a different goaltender now. So it's been Gilles Meloche for the first 3 games, but they're like, that's not working. We're going to try Michel Dion. We're still going with John Garrett. Go Whalers, go. Let's take a 3-1 lead in the series and go and finish it off at home. A 6-3 win. We are up 3-1 in the series. We outshot the Nordiques 42-31 in that one. Gordy Roberts, first star with 2 assists. Wilf Payment, second star with a goal and an assist. And Paul Coffey, third star with a goal and an assist. Alright, so Wilf Payment scored in the first from Paul Coffey and Rob Ramage. Then Brent Sutter from Randy Kennyworth and Wilf Payment. Then the Nordiques scored. It was 2-1, but we scored again. Jay Wells from Anton Stashny and Gordy Roberts. 3-1 Hartford after 1. Nordique scored twice in the second period. It was actually 3-3, and we had a fight between Tiger Williams and Jay Wells, but we scored 3 unanswered goals in the third period. Mark Messier scored his 5th unassisted, gave us the 4-3 lead. Then Glenn Anderson from Anton Stastny and Gordy Roberts, and finally Paul Coffey from Beau Berglund and Dave Poulin. 6-3, the final score for the Waiters. And that's what the game does. I'm doing good, so they took 2 of my players. Rob Ramage and Brent Sutter are both hurt. Brent Sutter is day-to-day, alright. Oh, daily treatment for Ramage. He has a sprained wrist. Yeah, I need him. I'm gonna delay his treatment. I need him in the lineup. In the playoffs is the time to do it. Alright. What does it look like here? Okay, Sutter cannot play. Alright. Okay, let's advance that and then see. Why does it feel like my mouse movement became like super fast all of a sudden? That's weird. Alright, Vancouver beat Edmonton 6-5. They have a 3-1 lead. Minnesota tied their series with Chicago with a 3-2 win. We beat Quebec. We're up 3-1. And the Flyers beat the Islanders. At least I think I said that right. Why is my mouse fast all of a sudden? Like, it makes no sense. Alright, we're up 3-1. Flyers are up 3-1. Series tied between Chicago and Minnesota, and Vancouver is up 3-1. Yeah, I had it all. Alright. I need to change that after the game. Go back to changing my mouse settings. They somehow got changed. Alright, let's see if we can eliminate the Nordiques. That's annoying. Alright, Gilles Meloche is going to be in net, back in net for the Nordiques. The Michel Dion experiment didn't work out, and then John Garrett in net for us. Come on, Hartford, let's finish it at home. 7-2 win. We are going to the conference finals for the first time since joining the NHL. Thank you very much. We outshot the Nordiques 32-20. Wolf Payment was the first star of the game. He had a hat-trick. Peter Stastny was the second star with 2 goals and 2 assists, and Dave Poulin was the third star with 2 assists. 10,725 people in attendance for the game. Nordiques scored first, but then we scored 4 unanswered goals. Wolf Payment scored his 5th from Mark Messier and Paul Coffey, then Peter Stastny from Dave Poulin and Glenn Anderson, then Wolf Payment from Peter Stastny and Jay Wells, and then Wolf Payment again completed his hat-trick from Peter Stastny and Anton Stastny. 4-1, the lead after 1. We added 2 goals in the second period. Randy Coneyworth from Dave Poulin and Paul Coffey, and then Greg Teberge from Jay Wells and Glenn Anderson. 6-1 Hartford after 2. And then in the third period, Peter Stastny scored from Matty Agman and Tapio Levo, made it 7-1. The Nordic scored, made it 7-2, but yeah, we had 1 already. Oh, fudgesicle. Rob Ramage got hurt further. Alright. And then Wolf Payment had a hat-trick. Alright, so we tried to play Rob Ramage through the injury, but that didn't work. That sucks. That's one of our good defensemen. And now we have to recall somebody. That's going to be Bill Kitchen. At least we might be getting some rest, maybe. Yeah, Edmonton still alive against Vancouver. Chicago won against Minnesota, and Flyers eliminated the Islanders. So we're going to be facing off against the Flyers in the conference final. Darren Veitch close to returning. I'm gonna need you healthy, buddy, so you just sit tight while the other series continue. Yeah, it's gonna be Hartford and Philadelphia in the conference finals. Oh, Brent Sutter might be back soon. Be nice if he were to be back for the next round. Chicago eliminated Minnesota, and Edmonton is still alive against Vancouver. All right. So there's going to be a game 7 in the in the Campbell Conference. All right. April scouting, I don't really care about that. Darren Veitch says he's ready, so that's good. And the Oilers with an 8-3 victory in Game 7 make it to the conference final. Alright, and in that game, Bob Daly got suspended for 1 game. Akan Lube had a hat trick so he's at least he's producing for them. He was part of that mega trade that I made with the Oilers. So he had a hat trick. Good game for Kevin Lowe. He had 4 assists in that same game. Stan Wire has a great game, 4 assists as well. Top setting Hartford Whalers jerseys for April with payment: Peter Stastny, Mark Messier, Paul Coffey, and John Garrett. Brent Sutter almost ready to go. Development report, kind of important. Oh dang, Bill Kitchen is getting worse. I had to recall him because Rob Ramage is hurt. And he's worse at passing than he was. And he dropped down like he was finally a full star when I called him back up. And that made him go back down to a alpha star. That sucks. And the top selling jerseys in the entire NHL, Bob Kelly sold the most. And then Wayne Gretzky is second because, of course, Bob Kelly would sell the most jerseys. Alright, we're going to go ahead and hit continue. Rob Ramage starting to feel better. Who knows? If we make it to the Stanley Cup Finals, maybe he's gonna come back. Oh, I have to select a Hall of Fame nominee. Let's see: Jean-Guy Talbot, Vic Hadfield, Bobby Russo, Phil Goyette, Red Berenson. Oh man, can't say I'm super familiar with those names. I'm gonna roll a dice. Why not? Can you imagine a real, like, somebody that's on the comedy to select like Hall of Fame nominees, and he's like, I don't give a shit, I'm just gonna pick randomly. Let's see if random serves us well. Alright, so I rolled Red Berenson. There you go. I'm nominating you. Alright. We are about to play the Flyers. Now, Flyers finished the season with a 50-19-11 record for 111 points. That's 9 more than us. However, we swept the regular season series against them, so we can hope that this kind of luck is going to continue. Since the Flyers had more points than us, we are starting this series on the road. Let's take a look at their injuries. So Ian Turnbull is hurt. He may or may not play. Oh, he has a fractured foot, but he can play through it. Bobby Clark is hurt and not gonna play. He's just day-to-day with a bruised jaw. He's at least gonna miss the first game. That's it for their injuries. So the Flyers without their captain for game 1. Alright, let's do this. John Garrett in net for us. Pete Peters in net for the Flyers. Come on, Hartford. Don't let me down. 2 more series to win. Go, Whalers, go. Ooh. We lost game 1 8-2. That's a stinker. We were outshot 36-22. Keith Crowder was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and 2 assists. Tim Erickson was the second star. Not Tim Erickson. Thomas Erickson was the second star with 2 assists. And Claude Larose was the third star with a goal and 2 assists. Flyers scored 3 goals in the first period. We had 2 fights, Ken Linsman and Mark Messier, then Ben Wilson and Jay Wells. Flyers added 2 goals into the second period. They were up 5-0. Then Paul Coffey scored his 5th from Peter Stastny and Wilf Payment. And then the Flyers scored 2 more goals, 7-1 Flyers after 2. Another fight between Ben Wilson and Bernie Johnston. Anton Stastny scored his 5th of the playoffs from Greg Teberge and Darren Veitch, made it 7-2, but the Flyers added 1 more goal. That's a game we want to forget. Definitely a game we want to bounce back from. Strong game for Wayne Gretzky. He had a hat-trick against the Blackhawks. Alright, so Edmonton beat Chicago 4-1 in the Western, in the Campbell Conference finals. So they are up 1-0. Of course, we lost. We are down 1-0 against the Flyers. Alright, I'm gonna need another quick minute, and I will be right back again. Alright, let's play game 2. Hopefully we look a little bit better in that one. We have a good team, but losing Rob Ramage definitely hurt. John Garrett and Pete Peters in net again. Come on, Whalers, let's win game 2. We lost 5-1. Yikes, we're down 0-2 in this series against the Flyers. We outshot Philadelphia 29-27. The Rat was the first star of the game. He had 3 assists. Bill Barber was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Thomas Erickson was the third star with an assist. Right, Philadelphia scored twice in the first period. They were up 2-0. And then we had a fight between Thomas Erickson and Jay Wells. Then Flyers made it 4-0 into the second period. Then Anton Stastny scored from Paul Coffey and Glenn Anderson. It was 4-1. But Philadelphia added 1 more goal. And we lost 5-1. Right, Tapio Levo getting more comfortable playing the right side, so good for him. Alright, let's advance that and see. Chicago bounces back and tie their series against Edmonton, so it's 1-1 over there. We are down 0-2 in our series, which is not good. Alright, game 3. Flyers are now in Hartford, so let's see if we can win both home games and tie that, make it a series after that. Alright. Pete Peters, John Garrett in net still. Come on, Whalers, we cannot go down 0-3. That's going to be almost impossible to come back and win. Oh yeah, 8-3 victory over the Flyers. We outshot them 36-30. Anton Stastny was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and 2 assists. Glenn Anderson was the second star with 2 goals and an assist. And Matty Agman was the third star with 2 assists. 11,913 people in attendance for the game. The Rat scored first in the first period. Then Anton Stastny scored from Dave Poulin and Glenn Anderson. It was 1-1 after 1. Then in the second period, Paul Coffey scored on the power play from Greg Teberge and Wolf Payment to make it 2-1. Then Flyers tied the game. It was 2-2, and then we scored 2 more goals. Glenn Anderson from Darren Veitch and Anton Stastny, and then Anton Stastny from Gordy Roberts and Paul Coffey. 4-2 Hartford after 2. And we added 4 goals in the third period. Glenn Anderson from Matty Agman and Greg Teberge. Then Brent Sutter from Marian Stastny and Anton Stastny. Randy Coneyworth scored his 5th from Tapio Levo and Matty Agman. Then Randy Coneyworth again from Dave Poulin and Tapio Levo. 8-2. Flyers added a goal late in the period, but it was an 8-3 victory for the Whalers here over the Flyers. We're still down 2-1 in the series, but at least we're showing some life. Passes on point for Ack and Lube. He had 4 assists and, 7-0 trouncing for Edmonton against Chicago. So Edmonton is up 2-1 in their series, and we are down 2-1. All right. Let's see if we can tie the series. That'd be great. Pete Peters in net. John Garrett in net. So same goaltenders. Hopefully we win this. Come on, Whalers. I believe in you. A 6-2 victory. Series tied at 2. Making it interesting. So the home team won every single game so far. 6-2 victory for the Whalers. We outshot the Flyers 37-17. Dave Poulin was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Darren Veitch was the second star with an assist. And Greg Teberge was the third star with a goal. 10,830 people in attendance. Flyers scored the first goal of the game, and then we scored 4 unanswered goals in the second period. Peter Stastny from Glenn Anderson and Darren Veitch, then Paul Coffey from Wolf Payment and Gordy Roberts, Greg Teberge from Dave Poulin and Mark Massey, and then Brent Sutter from Randy Coneyworth and Bo Berglund. 4-1 Hartford after 2. Then in the third period, Dave Poulin scored from Gordy Roberts and Marian Stastny, made it 5-1. Then Flyers scored, made it 5-2, and then Anton Stastny scored from Matty Agman and Glenn Anderson. 6-2 the final score for the Whalers. And now we have a series tied at 2 games apiece. Ooh, and the Rat got hurt in this game. He's out for 4 weeks. See you next year, the Rat Ken Linsman. I don't think a whole lot of people are going to be sad about that. And Chicago bounced back against Edmonton and tied their series, so both series are tied at 2 games apiece. Right, we're switching to the real stuff here. We're switching to water. Alright, so if we want to win this round, we need to win on the road. So hopefully that's now. John Garrett in net for us. Pete Peters in net for the Flyers. Come on, Hartford. Let's take a 3-2 lead in this series. Come on, Whalers. A 7-4 win. Oh, and we went from 0-2 in the series to a 3-2 lead. Nice 7-4 win on the road. Now the Flyers are facing elimination. We were outshot, by the Flyers 37-30. Peter Stastny was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Darren Veitch was the second star with a goal and an assist, and Bo Berglund was the third star with a goal and an assist as well. Brent Sutter scored his 5th of the playoffs from Randy Coneyworth and Bo Berglund. Then Bo Berglund from Tapio Levo and Jay Wells. 2-0 Hartford, then the Flyers scored, made it 2-1, and then Peter Stastny scored his 5th from Paul Coffey, 3-1 Hartford after 1. And in the second period, the Flyers scored twice. It was 3-3, but we scored 2 goals. Mark Messier from Peter Stastny, and then Darren Veitch from Matty Agman and Anton Stastny. 5-3 Hartford after 2. We had a fight between Ben Wilson and Wilf Payment as well. Then in the third period, the Flyers scored to come to within 1, but we added 2 more goals. Bernie Johnston from Dave Poulin and Darren Veitch. And finally, Gordy Roberts scored in an empty net from Matty Agman and Glenn Anderson. It was a 7-4 win. Alright, Tapio Olivo still getting better at right defense. That's fine. I'm fine with that. Let's advance and see what's going on in the other series. Edmonton took a 3-2 lead over the Blackhawks. I'm kind of hoping that the Blackhawks win in case that I win. It's gonna be. I think they're gonna be a little bit easier to beat than the Oilers, but that's just me. I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still need 1 win. The hardest win to get in a 4 out of 7 is the fourth win is the hardest to win. All the NHL players are going to tell you that. Alright, so we're hosting the Flyers. Hopefully that ends tonight. Pete Peters, John Garrett. Come on, Hartford, let's finish it at home. Make our fans proud. Oh, we lost 6-5. There's going to be a Game 7 in Philadelphia. I don't like this. We were outshot 34-33. Bobby Clark was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and 2 assists. Gordy Roberts was the second star with 2 assists. And Ben Wilson was the third star with a goal and an assist. 11,219 people left the arena feeling a little sad. Glenn Anderson scored the first goal of the game. That was his 5th of the playoffs from Anton Stastny and Gordy Roberts. Then Brent Sutter from Bo Berglund and Randy Cunneyworth. Anton Stastny scored his 10th from Matty Agman and Gordy Roberts. It was 3-0. Then Philadelphia scored. It was 3-1 Hartford after 1. It looked good. Paul Coffey got into a fight with Brent Peterson. It looked like we were on our way. Then the Flyers scored, made it 3-2. Then we scored again, Darren Veitch from Matty Agman and Glenn Anderson. And then the Flyers scored twice to tie the game. It was 4-4. Then we had a fight between Jay Wells and Mike Bosniak. Mark Messier gave us the lead from Peter Stastny and Wilf Payment. But then the Flyers scored twice, made it 6-5, and we could never tie the game. There was another fight between Gordy Roberts and Mike Bosniak. We lost 6-5, folks. We need a Game 7 victory on the road to advance to the Stanley Cup Finals. Memorable night for Markow. He had 4 assists, and the Oilers have eliminated the Blackhawks. So the Oilers are waiting to see if they're going to face the Flyers or the Whalers in the Stanley Cup Finals. Alright, well, yet again, it is do or die. We always stretch it to the limit. Like, we cannot win that in 5 games and be like, alright, no, we have to... Well, actually, we did against the Nordiques, but we didn't in the first round. John Garrett in net for us. Pete Peters in net for the Flyers. That is do or die. Come on, Whalers. Win this for me. I know you can. I believe in you. A 2-0 win! John Garrett with the road Game 7 shutout for the Whalers. And the Whalers are going to the Stanley Cup Finals against the Edmonton Oilers. Now, if we can injure Gretzky in the first game, we have a good shot. Right, we outshot the Flyers 29-28 in that one. John Garrett with the shutout, 28 saves, the W, first star, of course. Watson of Philadelphia was the second star with no points, and Mark Messier was the third star with a goal. Randy Cunneyworth scored the first goal of the game from Brent Sutter and Bo Berglund. It was 1-0 after 1. And then that held all the way until the end of the game. Mark Messier scored with 14 seconds left in an empty net from Peter Stastny, and we won 2-0. Beautiful. And now we're facing the Oilers. And I got an achievement. All right, I'm gonna advance one day. God, I'd love for Rob Ramage to come back. Alright, so Edmonton finished the season 48, 18, and 14. They finished with 110 points, and we lost every single game against the Oilers during the regular season. That's kind of why I was hoping that Chicago would make it to the finals. But we're in the Stanley Cup finals, so we're not going to complain. Oh, they have some injuries, so Chipperfield is hurt. He's not going to play. Callaghan is hurt. We might see him. Oh, no, we won't. Maybe. And then Stuart Gavin is hurt, and oh wow, Stuart Gavin is really rated high. 3.5-star player. That's he's rated higher than Glenn Anderson, folks. You've seen it here for the first time. All right, so those players are not going to be playing. So Sarah and Al Smith in net. So Al Smith is our former goaltender that I traded over there. Mark Howe, Kevin Lowe, Charlie Huddy, Hamilton, Langevin, Siltanen, Price, and Nyrup on D. Up front they have Hunter, Smith, Carlson, Gretzky, Wire, Wilson, McClanahan, Keller, Lou, McDonald, Nystrom, Zanussi, and McKenna. Alright, so hopefully we can turn our fortunes around and win the Stanley Cup here. We are starting on the road. Edmonton had more points in the regular season than we did, so let's see if we can win the cup, folks. John Garrett and Al Smith are going to be facing each other. They used to be my goaltending duo. So, go Whalers, go. Come on. And we lost the first game 6-2. Now, that doesn't mean anything. Against the Flyers, I lost the first 2 games of the series and I won in 7. But you don't want to go back home down 2-0 because that sucks. We were outshot 32-17. McClanahan was the first star of the game with a goal and an assist. Wayne Gretzky was the second star with 2 goals, and Siltanen was the third star with a goal. Oilers scored twice in the first period. Then Peter Stastny scored from Anton Stastny and Glenn Anderson, and then the Oilers scored 2 more goals. It was 4-1 in Edmonton already after 1. Then in the second period, Peter Stastny made it 4-2 from Bo Berglund and Bernie Johnston. And then the Oilers scored again. 5-2 Oilers after 2. They made it 6-2 after 3 period. So we lost. Alright, we're down 0-1. Oh, Rob Ramage. Yes. Please come back. He cannot play. I usually never rush players off of injury, but I might. As soon as he's game available, I might just bring him in. Alright, game 2, folks. We don't want to go down 0-2. That's very dangerous, even though we worked it out in the conference finals. We don't want to play with fire here. Right, John Garrett and Al Smith in net again. Come on, Whalers, give me a W here. Oh yes, a 4-2 win. So the series is tied at 1. Nice 4-2 victory on the road. We outshot the Oilers 34-24. Dave Poulin was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. McClanahan was the second star with an assist, and Marian Stastny was the third star with an assist. Bernie Johnston opened up the scoring in the first from Tapio Levo and Dave Poulin. Then Dave Poulin from Greg Teberge and Marian Stastny. It was 2-0 Hartford, but the Oilers tied the game. It was tied at 2 after 1. In the second period, Brent Sutter scored from Bo Berglund and Jay Wells made it 3-2. We had a fight between Bob Nystrom and Bo Berglund. And then in the third period, Anton Stastny scored in an empty net with 1 second left to go in the game. And that was a 4-2 victory. And another fight between Dave Langevin and Darren Veitch. So I'm going to go ahead and do something here. I'm going to go ahead and save my game because I've been doing this for an hour and 10 minutes. I don't want to lose all of my progress. Rob Ramage might be back. Oh my god, I need him. I don't think he can play still. Oh yes, game available. You're coming back, buddy. And Bill Kitchen goes back down. There we go. Alright, so I don't know if he's gonna play or not, but at least he's there. Alright, so now the series shifts to Hartford, where we are going to host the Oilers. 1-1 game, 1-1 series, sorry. Come on, let's win this. We're at home, we should feel comfortable. Al Smith in net for the Oilers, John Garrett in net for the Oilers, and go Oilers go! A 5-4 overtime win. Who's the hero that gave us a 2-1 lead in the Stanley Cup final? We were outshot 40-31 in that one. Wolf Payment was the first star of the game, a goal and 2 assists. Akan Lube was the second star with a goal, and Rob Ramage played the third star with an assist. 11,778 people in attendance, so Oilers took a 2-0 lead, then Darren Veitch scored from Peter Stastny and Bernie Johnston, and then the Oilers scored again. It was 3-1 Oilers after one. We had a fight between Paul Coffey and Dave Hunter. Then in the second period, Brent Sutter scored from Randy Kennyworth and Rob Ramage. Then Mark Macy from Peter Stastny and Wolf Payment. It was tied at 3 after 2. Then the Oilers scored really early in the start of the third period, but we tied the game halfway through. Wolf Payment from Paul Coffey and Dave Plaint was tied at 4, and Matty Hagman played the hero. With 2 minutes left to go in the first overtime, that was his 5th of the playoffs for Mark Macy and Wolf Payment, a 5-4 Oilers victory. We are ahead 2-1 in the series. There's a message there. I'm a little scared to see who's hurt. It's both Glenn Anderson and Bo Berglund, folks, so we have 2 injuries because we cannot have nice things for too long. They're both day-to-day. Is there anybody that can... Okay, so they both cannot play, so Neufeld and Sibek are going to be playing. That hurts us, that's for sure. Okay, sore back and groin tightness. Good news is that Rob Ramage is feeling better. Oh, Mike O'Connell badly hurt in a car crash, so he plays for the Blackhawks. Ooh, he has a fractured skull and he's out at 6+ months. Oh, that sucks. Sucks for the Blackhawks. Alright, so we have a depleted lineup here for game number 4. We are up 2-1 in the series. Al Smith and John Garrett still in it. Come on, Oilers, let's overcome our difficulties and win this game. Oh, a 5-1 victory. We're up 3-1 in the Stanley Cup final. We are 1 win away from kissing the cup, filling it with champagne, taking a swim in the swimming pool with it, and whatever. We outshot the Oilers 29-26. Matty Hagman was the first star of the game with 2 goals. Anton Stastny was the second star with a goal and an assist, and Greg Teberge was the third star with 2 assists. 10,046 people in attendance for the game. Brent Sutter opened up the scoring in the first from Ray Neufeld and Greg Teberge, and then Matty Hagman from Vaclav Sebek and Paul Coffey. 2-0 Hartford after 1. In the second period, Anton Stastny scored unassisted, made it 3-0. Then Matty Hagman made it 4-0 from Anton Stastny and Marian Stastny. Then the Oilers scored, it was 4-1, and then Darren Veitch scored his 5th from Greg Teberge and Marian Stastny, and that was a 5-1 victory. We are 1 win away, folks, and Rob Ramage got hurt. He was playing hurt, I was playing with fire. Oh, now he's out 1 to 2 months. Oh, that's a concussion, that's not even his wrist anymore. Glenn Anderson might be back soon. That'd be great. Oh, Glenn Anderson can play now, so that's good for sure. All right, so Rob Ramage back on the injured reserve. And we're gonna get Bill Kitchen back up. I'm gonna advance. All right. And now we need to win this on the road here. We can finish it in 5 games. Can we do it though? Alright, John Garrett and Al Smith. Come on, waiters. Let's finish it. We don't need to go back home. Let's finish it. Can we win the Stanley Cup? We won the Stanley Cups, folks. 5-3 victory, and that's a Stanley Cup win, which means that for my challenge, if I win the cup against next season, I have completed my challenge. Sorry. We outshot Edmonton 38-34. Mark Messier was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Dave Hunter was the second star with a goal and an assist, and Peter Stastny was the third star with a goal and an assist. Brent Sutter opened up the scoring in the first. That was his 10th of the playoffs from Jay Wells and Marian Stastny. Then the Oilers tied the game, and then Mark Messier scored his 10th as well from Gordy Roberts and Peter Stastny. 2-1 Hartford after 1. There was a fight between Bob Nystrom and Paul Coffey. Then in the second period, Wolf Payment scored from Paul Coffey, and Mark Messier made it 3-1 Hartford. In the third period, the Oilers tied the game, but with 1 minute and 24 seconds left into the game, Paul Coffey scored on the power play. A very, 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 very bad penalty to take for Kevin Lowe from Mark Messier and Matty Agman. It was 4-3, and then Peter Stastny scored in an empty net unassisted, and that's a 5-3 victory. And your Hartford Whalers are your Stanley Cup final winners. And I got me some achievements for that. Whalers top orders and clinch the finals. And then Glenn Anderson is completely recovered. So we did it, folks. We won the Stanley Cup once. Now we have to win it a second time. We need to win it next year for me to complete the challenge. It's not going to be easy. It's really hard to win the Stanley Cup back-to-back. There's some really good teams, like the Islanders are really good. Yeah, there's a lot of really good teams, so that's not going to be easy. But our team is good as well, so I'm going to go ahead and save. I know that usually I make it all the way to July 1st, but I've been doing it for a while, and I have something that I need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and save here. Next time out, it's going to be a little bit of a longer off-season type of stream, so we can look forward to that, see who we get in the draft, see if I'm trading somebody, if I'm signing some free agents and whatnot. So, but for now, that's going to be it. So we are the winners, we are the champions, woo, 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 blah, 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 blah. But anyway, so thanks for tuning in as usual. If you're catching this on YouTube later and you liked the video, you know what to do. But for now, it's ARG out, so peace out, folks. See you all later.